There are moments when the universe seems to move in silence. And then there are moments when everything that has been quietly developing beneath the surface suddenly reaches a decisive turning point. This Sunday, June 28th, marks one of those rare thresholds. For three zodiac signs in particular, something they have been striving toward for months, and for some even years, is approaching far faster than they realize. What is unfolding is far more significant than an ordinary uplifting transit or another pleasant cosmic influence. It is a concentrated signal that the time for preparation is ending and the time for action is beginning. Imagine standing before a traffic light that remains red through countless seasons of waiting, uncertainty, and persistence, only to see it flash green for a brief instant. That is the symbolic energy surrounding this day. The opportunity is genuine, the momentum is powerful, and the potential to redirect the course of your life within a single weekend is very real. Yet there is an important truth hidden inside this promise. The opening is remarkably brief. It is charged with intensity, and it is not designed to linger. Delay can become the difference between stepping into a new chapter and watching that chapter pass by untouched. By the time Monday arrives, the celestial atmosphere changes so dramatically that the energetic doorway available on Sunday no longer exists in the same form. That is why paying attention now matters more than waiting until you feel completely certain. If recent weeks have left you carrying an unusual weight, if you have sensed an invisible pressure growing stronger without understanding its source, if you have repeatedly felt that life is building toward a moment that has not yet revealed itself, there is a reason for those emotions. That inner tension has not appeared without purpose. It has been developing alongside the movements of the sky, and as we continue, the deeper meaning behind that growing intensity will become much clearer. Before understanding why this weekend holds such extraordinary significance, it is necessary to look back across the entire month of June, because none of what is happening now exists in isolation. Astrology rarely delivers life-changing moments without first constructing the foundation beneath them. Every meaningful transit contributes another layer, another lesson, another emotional adjustment, until the larger picture finally becomes visible. The sky tells its story gradually, and the final days of June represent the culmination of a narrative that has been unfolding since the very beginning of the month. The process began quietly on June 1st, when Mercury entered Cancer. That shift encouraged information to move beyond simple logic and into the territory of emotional awareness, intuitive perception, and inner knowing. Many people may have found themselves reflecting more deeply than usual, discovering conversations that unexpectedly carried emotional weight, thinking more frequently about family, home, childhood, or memories that resurfaced without warning. Those experiences were not random interruptions. They were the first structural pieces of something much larger being assembled behind the scenes. Then June 9th introduced another essential chapter. Venus, the planet associated with love, values, and relationships, united with Jupiter, the planet connected to growth, abundance, and opportunity at 25 degrees of Cancer. Two of astrology's most supportive planetary influences met within one of the zodiac's most emotionally nurturing signs. Their conjunction expanded far more than romantic hopes or material desires. It magnified the longing for genuine security, meaningful relationships, emotional belonging, and a future that felt deeply aligned with the heart. It encouraged many people to imagine possibilities that previously seemed too distant or unrealistic. It planted an internal vision that felt almost tangible, as though the future briefly stepped close enough to be sensed before retreating once again into possibility. That vision became another vital piece of the larger design. Then came the summer solstice on June 21st, an annual turning point that has been honored by civilizations throughout history as a sacred transition. On the longest day of the year, collective attention naturally shifted toward themes involving home, ancestry, emotional protection, personal foundations, and deeper truths that cannot remain hidden forever. Symbolically, the sun appeared to pause before beginning another phase of its journey, reminding humanity that transformation often begins during moments that appear outwardly still. Every one of these transits served the same purpose. Each one repaired the emotional landscape. Each one strengthened internal resilience. Each one quietly tested whether your plans, intentions, and personal growth could support the opportunities that would eventually arrive. Rather than delivering immediate rewards, the universe spent the month constructing the inner architecture necessary to receive them. Now the story reaches its defining chapter. Everything built throughout June converges on this Sunday, creating an alignment unlike any other we have witnessed this year. Many people hear the words Mars Sextile Jupiter and assume it simply describes another pleasant and supportive aspect. That interpretation barely scratches the surface of what actually occurs on June 28th. The true power of this alignment comes not merely from the sextile itself, but from the extraordinary timing surrounding it. Shortly after 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, Mars reaches 29 degrees and 33 minutes of Taurus, while forming a perfect 60-degree relationship with Jupiter, positioned at 29 degrees and 33 minutes of Cancer. Both planets occupy the anaretic degree, the final degree within their respective zodiac signs, often regarded as a point carrying exceptional intensity and symbolic importance because it represents the closing breath before entering entirely new territory. That detail transforms this transit into something far more consequential than an ordinary harmonious aspect. Jupiter is completing its year-long journey through Cancer, where its qualities of expansion, emotional wisdom, protection, and growth have expressed themselves with exceptional strength. Mars, meanwhile, has spent weeks advancing through Taurus with determination, patience, endurance, and steady persistence, constructing progress one deliberate step after another instead of relying upon sudden bursts of speed. At the precise moment when both planetary journeys approach completion, just before each prepares to cross into a different sign and begin an entirely new chapter, they form this exact alignment across the heavens. It is as though two experienced travelers pause for one final exchange before continuing towards separate destinations, sharing everything they have learned before the next stage begins. That final meeting concentrates months of accumulated momentum into a single moment, creating an unusually powerful opportunity for those prepared to recognize it. And what follows from this extraordinary convergence reveals why the pressure you have been feeling has been building toward this exact point all along. If you have been wondering why your emotions have felt unusually intense lately, why every decision seems heavier than it should, or why it feels as though life has been holding its breath, you are standing at the exact point where accumulated momentum demands release. The final degree of a zodiac sign is never quiet. It does not gently encourage change. Instead, it announces that an ending has reached its fullest expression and that the next chapter refuses to wait any longer. The 29th degree carries an unmistakable feeling of completion, urgency, and irreversible transition. Everything that has been developing beneath the surface is pressing toward a decisive outcome. This is why the energy surrounding this weekend feels impossible to ignore. It is not inviting hesitation, it is asking for commitment. The message flowing through this alignment is simple. The moment to respond is now. Delaying until tomorrow, or waiting for absolute certainty, only reduces the power of the opening that is available today. If you have sensed an invisible pressure building inside you over the past several weeks, almost like carrying a weight that cannot be explained through ordinary circumstances, that sensation has a purpose. It reflects the intensity created by the anaretic degree itself. This degree gathers unfinished lessons, accumulated effort, and unrealized potential into a single concentrated point. Whether you consciously recognized it or not, you have been moving through that energetic chamber, slowly building toward this release. The emotional tension has not been working against you. It has been preparing you for the exact instant when action becomes more valuable than reflection. What makes this alignment especially remarkable is the natural partnership formed between Mars in Taurus and Jupiter in Cancer. Their relationship is not simply supportive. It is deeply complementary, with each planet providing precisely what the other requires. Imagine one force capable of envisioning an extraordinary future, while another possesses the patience and determination to transform that vision into lasting reality. Throughout Jupiter's journey in Cancer, your emotional world has been expanding. It has encouraged you to imagine greater security, stronger relationships, a deeper sense of belonging, and a life that feels emotionally rich rather than merely successful. It has invited your heart to believe that something larger is possible. Mars, traveling through Taurus, has approached the same destination from an entirely different direction. Instead of inspiring dreams, it has focused on consistent effort. It has emphasized discipline, endurance, practical action, and the willingness to keep building, even when progress seemed painfully slow. Every choice, every responsibility accepted, every obstacle overcome, has become another layer supporting the future you have been creating. The relationship between Cancer and Taurus reflects the natural harmony between water and earth. Water nourishes the soil so growth becomes possible. Earth provides the structure that allows water to remain life-giving rather than scattered. In the same way, emotional vision gives purpose to practical effort, while practical effort transforms emotional longing into something tangible. When Mars and Jupiter unite through this exact sextile of the 29th degree, it resembles the final moment when inspiration and execution finally recognize one another as equal partners. The dream no longer exists only inside your imagination. The work you have invested begins to reveal visible results. Yet there is an important distinction that cannot be overlooked. A sextile offers possibility rather than certainty. Unlike a trine, which often allows blessings to arrive with little resistance, a sextile asks for participation. The universe may unlock the door, but you must still choose to step across the threshold. Opportunity only becomes reality when you are willing to act. Those who remain passive may watch remarkable possibilities pass by without ever realizing how close they truly came. That is why preparation matters so much now. And for 3 zodiac signs, the preparation has already been taking place for far longer than they realize. Cancer. This message deserves your full attention. Whether your sun, moon, or rising sign is in Cancer, this Sunday represents the closing chapter of one of the most significant periods of personal development you have experienced in many years. Jupiter has spent an entire year traveling through your sign, steadily expanding your confidence, your identity, your emotional resilience, and your understanding of what your future can become. The changes have likely been so gradual that you may not fully appreciate how much you have evolved until you compare the person you are today with the person you were before this journey began. Now, as Jupiter prepares to complete its stay in Cancer before moving into Leo, the universe presents one final opportunity to make use of everything you have gained. At the same time, Mars continues moving through your 11th house, the area associated with friendships, communities, professional networks, shared goals, and aspirations that have remained alive within your heart for a long time. The sextile connecting Mars and Jupiter creates a direct bridge between your personal growth and the people surrounding you. For Cancer, the breakthrough is unlikely to appear in isolation. Instead, it arrives through connection. A trusted friend, a professional contact, a supportive group, a collaborative effort, or someone already within your network may unexpectedly become the catalyst that opens an entirely new path. A dream you have quietly protected could suddenly find the right environment to become reality. An opportunity that perfectly reflects the stronger, wiser version of yourself developed throughout this past year may appear with surprising speed. Yet there is one challenge unique to Cancer that cannot be ignored. Your natural instinct often encourages caution. You protect what matters. You withdraw when uncertainty appears. You seek emotional safety before taking bold action. Under the influence of this anaretic sextile, that familiar pattern becomes increasingly difficult to maintain. The energy presses you beyond the boundaries of comfort, encouraging you to speak with confidence, introduce the project you have delayed, accept the invitation, or embrace the opening before it disappears. Timing matters, because fewer than 15 hours after this sextile reaches exact perfection, Mars completes its journey through Taurus and enters Gemini. With that transition, the energetic atmosphere changes significantly. The slow and deliberate process of building reaches its conclusion, making room for an entirely different rhythm. If the opportunity has not been recognized before that shift occurs, the available opening becomes considerably smaller. Cancer. This is not simply another favorable weekend. It represents the culmination of 12 months of preparation. Trust the growth that has already taken place. Do not allow hesitation to overshadow everything you have invested to reach this point. And as this remarkable chapter reaches its conclusion, another sign that has carried enormous pressure throughout recent weeks is finally approaching its own moment of release. Taurus. Your story is only beginning to reveal why the weight you have been carrying has felt so incredibly heavy. There are seasons when persistence feels invisible, when every step forward demands far more effort than anyone else can see. And if you are a Taurus, you may recognize exactly what that experience has felt like during these past several weeks. Mars traveling through your first house has not offered comfort or easy victories. Instead, it has challenged every layer of your resilience, asking more from your body, your finances, your emotions, and your determination than you expected to give. For a sign that naturally values stability, patience, and carefully measured progress, having the planet of action and relentless momentum move through your own sign has created an uncomfortable tension. It has probably seemed as though every objective required twice the energy, every expense stretched your resources further than planned, and every accomplishment arrived later than you hoped. At times, you may even have questioned whether all your effort was leading anywhere meaningful. Yet none of those experiences have been meaningless. Every obstacle, every delay, every difficult decision has quietly strengthened the foundation beneath your future. The pressure has not existed to defeat you. It has existed to prepare you for the exact turning point arriving on June 28th. As Mars continues its journey through Taurus, it forms a harmonious sextile with Jupiter in Cancer, now moving through your third house, the area connected with communication, learning, ideas, conversations, nearby opportunities, and the people immediately surrounding your daily life. At that exact moment, something shifts. The resistance that has felt so constant begins to loosen, and the breakthrough arrives in a way that reflects the symbolism of your third house. Instead of appearing through dramatic external events, it may begin with information. A conversation suddenly reveals an opportunity you had never considered. An idea that seemed incomplete unexpectedly comes together with remarkable clarity. A negotiation changes direction and begins working in your favor. A message, an introduction, or an unexpected exchange with someone close to your everyday environment becomes the missing piece that validates the work you have invested for so long. Even the financial strain that has accompanied Mars through your first house begins to reveal signs of reversal. The pattern of constant expenditure and relentless output gradually gives way to new possibilities for gain. That improvement may arrive as increased income, a favorable agreement, a profitable opportunity, or an offer whose value exceeds your expectations. Whatever form it takes, the deeper meaning remains the same. The patience you demonstrated when immediate rewards were nowhere to be found was never wasted. Every difficult day added another layer to something designed to endure rather than disappear. What once felt like endlessly pushing against immovable resistance now begins producing visible results that are impossible to dismiss. When the message arrives, pay attention. When inspiration suddenly feels unmistakably clear, trust it. When an unexpected opportunity appears almost out of nowhere, do not convince yourself it is too good to be true simply because the waiting has been so long. Sometimes the universe rewards endurance only after making certain the lesson of perseverance has been fully learned. Taurus, this alignment reminds you that your persistence has value and the signal to move forward has finally arrived. Accept it with confidence, because the opportunity reflects everything you have already earned through consistent effort. As the story continues, another sign reaches a completely different kind of turning point, Aries. This next chapter is meant for you. If the past several weeks have felt strangely frustrating, there is an important reason behind that experience. Mars, your ruling planet, has been traveling through Taurus, activating your second house of earned income, personal resources, financial security, and self-worth. For a sign known for bold movement, decisive action, and the instinct to move first while others hesitate, this transit has likely felt unusually restrictive. Instead of rapid progress, you've encountered situations demanding patience. Instead of effortless momentum, financial responsibilities have required continuous attention. Your confidence may have remained intact, but your natural speed has repeatedly been asked to slow down. Yet this slower pace has not weakened your potential. It has strengthened the structures supporting your future success. On June 28th, your ruling planet forms an exact sextile with Jupiter moving through your fourth house, the area governing home, family, emotional foundations, security, and the deepest roots supporting your life. Whenever Mars harmonizes with Jupiter, especially when Mars serves as your chart ruler, the effects are difficult to overlook. The shift can feel immediate, energizing both your circumstances and your inner state at the same time. Confidence rises. Motivation returns. Optimism replaces uncertainty. You begin recognizing possibilities that previously seemed hidden behind obstacles. This renewed momentum may reveal itself through finances, perhaps as increased income, a bonus, a profitable opportunity, or a side project that suddenly develops into something far more rewarding than expected. At the same time, developments connected with your home or family may create greater stability, allowing you to feel more grounded while pursuing larger ambitions. Even your physical energy reflects this change, replacing exhaustion with a renewed sense of determination that encourages decisive action. Yet the unfolding story extends even further. The following day, June 29th, the full moon in Capricorn illuminates your 10th house, the area associated with career, public recognition, professional achievements, reputation, and long-term legacy. The progress initiated through the Mars and Jupiter sextile becomes the foundation supporting this highly visible professional moment. Financial improvements or increased stability at home naturally strengthen your ability to shine within your career. The effort you invested, the discipline you maintained, and the structures you patiently developed become visible to others rather than remaining hidden behind the scenes. Recognition becomes possible because your preparation finally has an audience. Your enthusiasm reaches an unusually high level. Your ability to communicate your ideas becomes increasingly persuasive, and the people capable of influencing your future begin paying closer attention. Leaders, decision-makers, respected professionals, and individuals with authority may find themselves responding positively to both your confidence and your results. This is one of those rare periods when your natural courage is supported not only by enthusiasm, but by tangible evidence that your work delivers meaningful outcomes. Do not hesitate to step forward when opportunities appear. The momentum surrounding you has been carefully constructed through everything you have already experienced. Yet before celebrating too early, it is essential to understand that the sextile itself is only the beginning. The changes unfolding immediately afterward carry equal importance. This alignment does not exist as an isolated event. It becomes the opening movement in a sequence of rapid astrological developments that shape the remainder of the year. Fewer than 15 hours after the sextile reaches perfection, Mars completes its stay in Taurus and enters Gemini. With that transition, the atmosphere changes almost instantly. The patient, methodical rhythm that emphasized steady construction gives way to a much faster pace, where movement accelerates, decisions arrive more quickly, and the next stage of the story begins to unfold. Pay close attention to what happens immediately after this breakthrough, because receiving the opportunity is only part of the story. What follows determines whether that opportunity becomes something lasting or dissolves into distraction. Once Mars leaves Taurus and enters Gemini, the atmosphere changes almost instantly. The steady rhythm that rewarded patience and persistence gives way to a much faster current. Suddenly your mind begins racing. Conversations multiply. New possibilities appear everywhere. Invitations, decisions, questions, and ideas compete for your attention all at once. While this fresh momentum can feel exciting, it also carries a hidden challenge. When too many directions appear equally promising, it becomes surprisingly easy to lose focus. If you have not already secured the opening created while Mars remained in Taurus, the transition into Gemini can scatter your energy before your breakthrough has time to take root. The emphasis shifts away from building tangible results and toward exchanging ideas, exploring options, and debating possibilities. That is why the sequence of events matters so much. First, establish what you have worked so hard to create. Then allow yourself to analyze, explain, and refine it afterward. The order cannot be reversed without risking unnecessary delays. Only about 36 hours later, on June 29th, Mercury stations retrograde in Cancer, introducing an entirely different lesson. Rather than signaling that your opportunity has disappeared, this retrograde suggests something much more nuanced. Imagine receiving the keys to an important new chapter before being asked to examine every detail that accompanies it. The opening itself remains genuine. The progress you achieved remains valid. However, the practical side of bringing that success into everyday reality now requires patience. Agreements deserve another reading. Documents benefit from careful review. Permanent commitments should not be rushed. The larger direction of your breakthrough has already been established. Yet the finer details, scheduling, communication, logistics, and paperwork are likely to require thoughtful adjustments throughout the month of July. This slower process is not punishment. It is protection, ensuring that what you build upon this opportunity remains stable for the long term. As the same evening unfolds, another powerful event arrives. The full moon in Capricorn rises, shining its light upon everything that has previously developed behind closed doors. Capricorn values structure, discipline, achievement, and responsibility, and under this full moon, those qualities become visible to the outside world. The effort you invested when no one was watching, the sacrifices you quietly accepted, the persistence that often felt unnoticed, all have the potential to receive recognition. Validation arrives not because fortune suddenly appears from nowhere, but because the foundations you patiently created can no longer remain hidden. Others begin noticing what you have already understood about your own journey. There is a profound emotional shift that often accompanies this moment. You stop questioning whether your work has meaning, because the evidence begins appearing in front of you. What once existed only as private determination starts becoming public reality. Then, on June 30th, another major transition completes the sequence as Jupiter officially leaves Cancer and enters Leo. In doing so, an entire 12-month cycle reaches its conclusion. The emphasis moves away from emotional development, inner security, nurturing relationships, and personal foundations toward creativity, confidence, visibility, leadership, and outward expression. Whatever blessing, opportunity, or meaningful breakthrough emerged during the Mars and Jupiter sextile now becomes the platform supporting everything that follows. Rather than existing as a single fortunate event, it becomes the emotional and practical foundation upon which your next chapter can be constructed. This is why the breakthrough should never be viewed as the destination. It is the beginning of a much larger journey that extends well beyond this remarkable weekend. Yet it is equally important to recognize why this period carries such extraordinary intensity. The urgency surrounding these transits is not an illusion. It exists because several exceptionally significant astrological events are compressed into an unusually brief period of time. Both Mars and Jupiter occupy the 29th degree while preparing to enter new signs. Mercury prepares to station retrograde. The full moon reaches its peak. All of these developments converge within approximately 48 hours. Such concentration creates an atmosphere that naturally feels charged with expectation. The anaretic degree represents the final expression of a sign before transformation occurs. It gathers every lesson, every opportunity, every unfinished thread into one concentrated release of energy before the cycle changes completely. When two planets simultaneously occupy this powerful degree while forming one of astrology's most supportive aspects, many people experience an unmistakable feeling that something significant is unfolding. It may appear as quiet certainty, heightened awareness, or an inner recognition that an important chapter has finally arrived. Even if you cannot logically explain it, your intuition often recognizes these turning points before your mind catches up. At the same time, this remarkable concentration of energy deserves respect. The anaretic degree magnifies not only opportunity, but also emotional intensity. Mars naturally increases passion, determination, and action. Jupiter naturally expands whatever it touches. Together, they can amplify confidence into overconfidence if awareness is lost. Small disappointments may feel larger than they truly are. Minor disagreements can escalate unnecessarily. Strong motivation can become impulsive action if it is not guided carefully. That is why this alignment rewards thoughtful execution rather than emotional reaction. The goal is not to rush simply because the energy feels powerful. The goal is to move with intention, confidence, and precision. You already understand what you have been creating. You already recognize the direction your heart has been pointing toward. This is the moment to trust both your preparation and your judgment, without allowing excitement to replace wisdom. Opportunities of this magnitude do not appear every day, and the particular combination of planetary movements surrounding this weekend will not repeat itself for a very long time. The signal to move forward is present now, but like every meaningful doorway in life, it remains open only for a limited time. The decisions you make during the next 72 hours have the potential to influence how you remember this period for years to come. Looking back, you may recognize it as the weekend when everything finally aligned, when months of preparation suddenly made perfect sense, and when your willingness to act transformed possibility into reality. Or you may remember it as the moment that nearly changed everything before hesitation allowed it to slip away. The celestial framework has already been established. The preparation has already taken place. The path has already appeared before you. The only remaining question is whether you are ready to take the next step with confidence. Before we finish, I want to sincerely thank you for spending this time with me and for sharing this journey through the skies. If this message resonated with you, and you enjoy exploring astrology through thoughtful and meaningful conversations like this, I would truly appreciate your support. Subscribing to the channel helps you stay connected whenever new insights are released. And it also helps this community continue to grow. I would also love to hear what stood out to you today, so feel free to share your thoughts, experiences, or reflections in the comments. Until we meet again in the next reading, take good care of yourself, stay open to the guidance unfolding around you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.